Hey guys, I am back with another book video. I know I typically only post once a week on Fridays, but I thought I'd throw an extra video in there because I watched Rachel Catherine's video on doing Steph's book tag and I wanted to do it. I was like, I needed to do it, you know? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna film it right now. I'm gonna get it done. And it's gonna be amazing. I, of course, watched Steph's video and I completely agree with her. We need to bring back tags. We need to bring back challenges. I love and miss the OG YouTube. It was so fun. It was just, such a simple time, I feel like. So I love it. I love the idea, and that's part of the reason why I'm like, I need to jump on this. I always watching videos, like I've been watching YouTube for forever. More than half my life now. And I always wanted to be a part of it. And like, I always wanted to do a tag video and sit with my friends and like do tags together and that kind of stuff. So now that I'm like on YouTube and I'm putting out videos and doing this thing that I really want to do, I would love for it to be like OG and do tags and all that. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm so excited. I love this. So we're going to jump into it. I am going to be doing Steph's version. I know Rachel Catherine added a few extras, but I think I'm just going to stick with Steph's 15. That works for me. I will also go ahead and link Steph's video as well as Rachel Catherine's video and have the list of questions as well for you guys, all in the description box. But let us jump into it. And let's see here. And I'm gonna probably go through this pretty quick. I'm like in a chatty mood. I'm excited and I love it. So, number one, we have a book you tell people is your favorite. Book that I always like, if someone just randomly comes up to me and is like, what's your favorite book? The Host by Stephanie Meyer. I've read this countless times and it's just amazing. I love just the storyline. Apparently I'm a super sci-fi person. Sci-fi girly, I guess you'd call it. Like I love me a good sci-fi book. Aliens, apparently I'm down for it because I love them. So this is great dystopian aliens, science fiction, the whole thing. The love triangle, kind of not, is amazing. It's a good book. I highly recommend. For number two, we have a book that is your guilty pleasure. Also, before I forget, I do want to say I'm going to try my best not to repeat books because I feel like you're not supposed to. I do think I repeat once, but I'm trying my best not to. All right, sorry, needed a new battery. But book that is my guilty pleasure, what I went with is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. The reason I picked this one is because I really like the story. I've read it actually a couple times now, and the story is very interesting, but I cannot stand the main character. Honestly, I feel like she's a brat. And so both times I finished it, I'm like, I can't stand her. But I like the story and like it sucks you in. It's really interesting because it's about a girl who writes comic books. Big popular comic book, but no one knows who the author is. Like kids in her school love this comic book but don't know who she is and that she writes them. She meets this guy. I believe he writes fan fiction of her comic, but it might actually also be that he's also rewriting it to be a book version of her stories. Either way, it's really cute because he doesn't know who she is and he talks about this comic book and he loves it. So I do love the whole overall storyline. It's really cool and interesting, but like I said, I can't stand her. So I feel like it's kind of like a guilty pleasure of like, I hate the main character, but I like the book. I don't know. That probably doesn't count, but that's all I got. Number three, a book everyone loved, but you didn't. This always makes me nervous because I don't want to offend anyone. If it's your favorite book, I don't want to make you feel bad, but it's just my opinion. Everyone has their own opinions. Everybody likes different things. So, and I have two of them. I could do one, but I don't know. I've got a couple of them. First one is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. Didn't really like the main character. It just felt like she was whiny and complainy and I don't know. Didn't love her. Didn't love the storyline. I like the other storyline of like the mystery of past and all of that. Like I liked that. That was interesting, but that was like the only thing that was interesting. And then I don't even think you get answers at the end because it's like a series, so you have to keep reading, but I didn't even care enough to keep reading. So sorry, didn't like it. Also another one, Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. It's a no. Honestly, it's just simple as that. I just, again, didn't love the main character. I didn't really like any of the characters. I didn't like how the story went as you kept reading. I also think it was mostly just there was so much hype over this book. I just didn't feel like it warranted it. Like once I read it, I was like, that's it. Like I just was very disappointed and let down. Number four, a book you read the fastest. This one was an easy one for me to pick. It is Just One Wish by Jeanette Rallison. I've read this 3 times. 2 times I read it in less than a day, kind of like a one sitting type of a deal. Blew through this book. It is so sweet. It's so heartwarming. It makes you laugh, makes you cry. Young adult, so it's just just sweet. I love this book, and like I said, read it so fast. A girl whose little brother has cancer, and she believes that if he believes he will get through this surgery that he needs to get rid of the cancer, if he believes it in his heart, then like make it happen because he believes it, like the placebo effect kind of a thing. So she makes up this genie, says he has 3 wishes, tells him to make a wish, and she's like gonna make the wish come true, but he wishes for something she didn't expect, to meet this actor from a TV show that he loves. So now she has to go and do everything she can, go on this little adventure to find this actor because she knows her little brother needs it, and it's so sweet. I love it. And there's a little bit of romance in it too, so it's just all around an amazing book. Number 5, we have a book that deserves more hype. So this one, I have not seen it anywhere or heard anyone talk about it. I could just be looking in the wrong places or just have not heard it, but I think it's not a very well-known book. All Our Yesterdays by Kristen Terrell. I had never heard of this book. My brother got me this book for Christmas a few years ago. And when he got it for me, I remember thinking, what is this book? I don't know what that is. Never heard of it. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. Like, okay. Love it. Love, love, love. And I think everyone should read it. I feel like it should be hyped up and people should read this book. It's so good. It's got time travel, love triangles, then and now point of view, multiple points of view, kind of enemies to lover, friends to lovers. It's got like so many things going on in this book in such a great way, and I just love it. It just needs more hype, I think. Number 6, we have a book that is being turned into a movie/TV show. I've only got one, and that is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I think it's coming out the end of this year. I'm not 100% sure. I know there's like a teaser trailer out for it right now. I do want to see the movie. I'm very interested in seeing the movie. I just finished reading this actually. So number 7, a book you reread the most, which is neck and neck with The Host, quite honestly. But it is New Moon by Stephanie Meyer. Specifically, New Moon, my favorite book. I love this book. I know most people hate this book because of what happens in the beginning. This is the kind of book that I would randomly just pick up. Like, I would just flip to a random chapter, read it, put it down, move on through my day all the time. So I couldn't even tell you how many times I've read it because that's what I would do. Just pick up, read my favorite parts over and over, that kind of a thing. So I love this. It's a good book. Team Jacob. If you know, you know. All right, so the next 3 questions, I don't actually have the physical books. Number 8, a book from a genre you don't typically read. For me, that would be I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I don't ever read autobiographies or anything of that nature. I am pretty much a strictly fiction reader. I love my fiction. I always feel so dumb when people are like, what do you like to read? And they like expect me to say something like deep, and I'm like, young adult fiction. Like, but that's what I like to read. So that book was definitely outside my comfort zone, but it was a really good book. I would say check ratings on it and stuff. It's got some mature content, some serious stuff. I know like her writing style makes things a little bit more lighthearted, and I do appreciate like how she wrote it. It was a really good book, but it does have some mature content, sensitive content, so I'd be careful with that. We have number 9, a book that deserves all the hype it gets, which for me would be Never Lie by Frida McFadden. Oh my gosh. The plot twist. Gasped out loud. Like, blew my mind. I was floored. Rocked my world. Like I was shocked. I was like, no way. There's no, oof. It was a good book. It was such a good book. So that book for sure deserves all the hype that it gets because it was so good. Number 10, a book you usually recommend when asked to give a recommendation. This I find hard because I feel like it depends on the person, because I'm like, I don't know what you like. I don't know what you're like into. But lately what I've found myself recommending to kind of anyone who's like, what should I read that would get me kind of into reading or get me hooked? I've been telling people Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I feel like you can't go wrong. It's scary, but not too scary. It's crazy. The plot twists. It's interesting. I felt like it keeps you on your toes. Just one that I recommend. I've recommended it quite a few times, and the reason I don't have it is because I lent it out to my sister. She's not a reader. She does not read, like, ever, and she's going on vacation. She's like, I want to bring a book because they're going on a cruise. She's like, and I want to have something to read. What would I read? I was like, try this. So we'll see what she says. Number 11, a book that has your favorite characters. Again, this one was kind of hard for me, but I went with The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. It's mostly like the side characters for me. Not so much Katniss herself. Like, I like Katniss. I don't dislike her, but she's not like my favorite person ever. But Peeta, Gale, Prim, Finnick, Joanna, Cinna, the prep team, Effie, like all of these side characters that you just can't help but love. They're just, I don't know. I just love all the characters, all the background and side characters as well as the main characters. I would love books of all these people. Number 12, a book you wish you could live in. Okay, so this is my one repeat. And people are gonna think I'm weird and crazy, and I probably am, but it is The Host. And I know that that's so weird because it's like apocalyptic and aliens take over the world and they're surviving and fighting for their lives. So it's like, why would that be a world you want to live in? But to explain, I always pictured like living in the caves because they live in like desert caves, which have to be the desert. I could not do like creepy dark bats and creatures and critters and wet caves, like caverns. I could not do that. But the caves in these books, I just pictured how cool would that be to live there and to figure out how to survive and work that land. And I don't know, just for some reason, like I could always picture myself in this world, and I loved it, and I thought it was so cool and just different. I know that's so lame and makes me probably a very weird person. All right, we are getting close to the end. Number 13, a book you thought you would hate but ended up loving. Don't have this book, but I plan to buy it as soon as I can. Only a Monster by, is it Vanessa Len? Yes, by Vanessa Len. That book, I saw it at the library, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. Like, it seems really weird, and like it's gonna be complicated and super fantasy-esque, and I was just like, I don't know. It was a 5-star read. This book was phenomenal. I loved it. I loved she's a monster and like the bad guy. I don't know. There's just something about this book that was amazing, and I'm so sad because I didn't realize it was a new release. So the second one hasn't come out yet, and I didn't realize it was a series either. So I'm like, oh my gosh, everything's against me with this book. So now I'm waiting for the second book to come out, and I cannot wait. But it's phenomenal. Everyone should read that. Number 14, a book that made you cry. All right. This one is If You Find Me by Emily Murdoch. This is a very dark, very heavy, serious topics in this book. It crushed me. It broke my heart. I cried like a baby. Like, it's a very heartbreaking story. It's one that I don't really tell people about this book. I've never recommended it to anyone. Haven't really told people that like I read it because I just don't think it's for everyone. Honestly, it wasn't even for me, but I'd started reading it and I was like, I had to see what happens. Because it's about these two little girls, they're sisters. They are like living in the woods in this trailer with their mom. Sketchy things are going down. Their mom disappears. They haven't heard from her in a while. They're like starving. This man and woman stumble upon them, and the man's their father. And so he like takes them in, starts taking care of them. But the younger sister, she doesn't speak. No one knows why. She knows how to speak, but she just doesn't. Something happened. And so you slowly learn like what happened, what was going on, and all that. A lot of serious stuff, really. Like I said, very dark, very sad. Like, check everything before reading that book so you know what you're getting yourself into. Last but not least, number 15, a book you wish you could read for the first time. This was hard for me because there's a lot of books. Honestly, most of the books I've talked about, I wish I could reread for the first time, but I had to pick one and I didn't want to repeat. So I went with Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This one, I had no idea what it was about going into it. I just knew it was set in the world of Wonderland. That's all I knew. I loved this book. I cried at this book. Literally, the last line of this book blew my mind. I read it, I was like, what? I was like, what did I just read? Holy crap, wait, what? Like, I was floored, and I loved that feeling. It was an amazing feeling, and I wish I could have that again. It was just phenomenal. You need to read this book, and if you can go into it without like knowing what it's about, all the more better. Whew. Gosh, that's all of them. I feel like I've talked for a hot minute. I was so excited about this concept and doing this tag video and just like being a part of it. Like, I don't know, it just got me so excited. I was like, I'm making this video and I'm making it now and I'm gonna post it right away. Like I love it. I love it. So excited. Hopefully you guys love it too. Enjoy the extra video. Enjoy listening to me ramble on and on about books, which is one of my favorite things to do. So I'm gonna stop talking now, catch my breath if I can. And like I said, I will link everything in the description box below for you guys, the different YouTube videos and the tag itself, just so you guys can have all of that if you want it. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time in my next video.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs.